Welcome to Well of Fitness Easy English Grammar Learning class. Now, everyone knows that this is the time of examinations. In the examinations, we have to go through major discourses as well as minor discourses. Today, I am going to speak about one of the major discourses, letter writing. First of all, we have to understand that there are two types of letters: formal letters and informal letters. Today I am going to speak about informal letters. What is an informal letter? How can you prepare an informal letter? Informal letters are the letters we are writing to our close relatives and friends. Informal letters are the letters we are writing to our close relatives and friends. Close relatives consist of father, mother, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, cousins. In addition to these friends, let us find out what are the parts of an informal letter. What are the parts of an informal letter? How can you prepare an informal letter? Now let us study what are the parts of an informal letter. Parts of an informal letter. The first part of the informal letter as well as formal letter is the heading. The heading or heading of the letter. That is the first part. The heading of the letter consists of self-address and date. Self-address means the writer's own address and date. Before studying it in detail, you are requested to take a book or a sheet of paper and note it down. Definitely, this is very helpful for you. Where should we place this heading? That is what now I am going to speak. We should place the heading or we should place the self-address and date at the right hand side top corner of your letter. If this is your answer sheet or if this is your letter, you have to place this self-address on the right hand side top corner of the letter. Self-address and date should be placed on the right hand side top corner of your letter. How can you write the self-address? That is what now I am going to speak. Self-address consists of your house number or house name, your colony name or village name, your mandal name or city name. And just below it, your village name, otherwise colony name, you have to write. Remember that it is better you should not use any punctuation mark here. Whenever you are making any errors in using this punctuation mark, it will adversely affect your mark. So, wrong punctuation mark will be penalized. So, in order to avoid it, definitely it is better you should avoid using the punctuation mark. Next, after the self-address, you have to write the date. You have to write date in such a manner. 26 month name September, comma 2023. This is the normal style of writing the date. Date should be written after the self address. So one part of the letter is over. The first part consists of self address and date. And now we can study what is the second part. The second part is salutation. Salutation is the way of addressing a person to whom you are writing the letter. And salutation should be written in such a manner. We have to start by using dear. If you are writing the letter to your father, you have to write dear father. Here, D and F should be capitalized. If you are writing a letter to your mother, you have to write dear mother. D and M should be capitalized. If you are writing the letter to your brother, dear brother, D and B should be capitalized. In such a way, you have to write the salutation. And if you are writing the letter to your friend, you can use the name of your friend. A comma after the salutation is mandatory. Salutation should be placed just below the heading and beside the near the margin. The next and the most important point is the body of the letter. That is the third point now I am going to speak. The third point is the body of the letter. This is the most important part. Before writing the body of the letter, you have to go through the question paper carefully. So before that, you have to understand the question properly, very carefully read it and understand it, and only then you start writing the body of the letter. First of all, the body of the letter consists of 3 paragraphs of an introduction. And the next one is the purpose. And the last one is a concluding paragraph. Now let us find out how can we write the body of the letter. Here 3 points you have to, means you have to write the body of the letter by using 3 paragraphs, of which the first one is an introduction. So introduction. In this first paragraph, I will explain what are the sentences you have to use here. So the introduction. Whenever you are making the introduction or whenever you are writing the first sentence, you have to think that the first sentence should be something that will make the reader feel happy. It should not be something that will make the reader feel unhappy or sad. And the next one is, second paragraph is definitely a purpose. Purpose. What purpose we are writing this letter? Before writing the purpose, you are advised to read the question paper once again. Definitely, what matter is mentioned? That same matter compulsory you have to include here. And the purpose should be written on the next paragraph. And now comes the third paragraph. Now the concluding paragraph. In this paragraph, you can write about yourself. I am studying well, otherwise I am fine, and my examination is going on. In such a way, you have to speak about a few things about yourself. That is what is in the concluding paragraph you have to write. And then comes next part of the letter. First part, second part. First point, second point, or third point. Next to the fourth point. Let us find out. Now, the subscription. This is also known as a complementary clause. So we have to, before concluding everything, we have to write a complementary clause. That is what is subscription. And this subscription should be placed one line below the body of the letter on the right hand side below the concluding sentence. You can use here yours lovingly, otherwise your loving friend, your loving son, otherwise your loving daughter. In this way you have to write. From here you have to concentrate one thing. Yours from the of which y should be capitalized. And moreover, most of the children make mistakes in one thing, that they unnecessarily they will use an apostrophe here after r or before s. Yours. Think that no apostrophe should be used here. Yours lovingly, and a comma after the subscription is mandatory, very necessary. You have to use a comma after the subscription. Yours lovingly, comma. And the fifth point is signature. You can write your name or signature here after the subscription. In informal letter, normally initials or surnames should not be used. Your normal name or pet name, that only should be used here. So these are the five parts of an informal letter. So format of an informal letter. Self-address and date. This should be placed on the right hand side top corner of the letter, and below the date, left side beside the margin, you have to place the salutation. It is the way of addressing the person to whom you are writing this letter. And then the most important part is the body of the letter. Here you have to divide the body of the letter in three paragraphs. The first paragraph is an introductory paragraph or introduction. And the next one is the purpose. And the third paragraph is a concluding paragraph. And then comes the fourth part, subscription, yours lovingly, otherwise your loving, plus whatever needed you have to write. And signature or name should be placed here. And no full stop should be placed after your name. Normally, we will not use any kind of full stop after the name. Now we can go one example. I will make an example of the informal letter. Now let us go through a question. Imagine that you are studying in a residential school. Residential school means a boarding school or their hostel facilities are available. Children who are staying there in the school itself and studying. So imagine that you are studying in a residential school which has organized a trip to Agra. Your school has organized a trip to Agra. Why? To see the Taj or the Taj Mahal. In order to see the Taj Mahal, a trip was planned. Write a letter to your father asking him permission to join the trip. So that is what you have to write. Now let us see how can we write a letter. Now we can write the letter. First of all, we have to write self-address and date. We have to write self-address and date. Leave a line beside the margin. Dear, write a letter to your father. So we have to write Dear Father. D and F should be capitalized. Whenever we are starting the first sentence, definitely it should be that something that will make the reader feel happy. So you can write in any sentence, you can use some of these lines. I received your letter yesterday. I am happy to know that you are fine. No matter what the question is, in introduction, you can use some of these lines. Now, I write this letter to tell you an important matter. Now, what is that important matter? That is what we can see in the question. And that is the purpose. We have to write, and that should be written with the details in the second paragraph. So, the second paragraph we can start. What is this matter? Your school has organized a trip to Agra to see the Taj Mahal. So you have to ask him permission. Ask your father's permission. That is what you have to write here. So we can write that details, but briefly here. Our school has organized a trip to Agra to see the Taj Mahal. This same sentence you can see on the question paper. So there is no need for making any spelling errors. You can look at the question properly and without spelling errors you can write the sentences. Our school has organized a trip to Agra to see the Taj Mahal. As the space is not sufficient, I am going to write here in this line. All my friends have decided to join the trip. I also have a desire to see the beautiful monument. It is a 3-day trip. Each student has to pay 3000 rupees. all the teachers will take care of us. Definitely, the parents should be very anxious about your care. So, you have to write such sentences in this type of letters. All the teachers will take care of us. So, I request you to grant me permission. I will write on the side to join the trip. So, these are the main matters or purpose we have to include. We have to include. The next thing is we can conclude our letter. So we can speak a few things about yourself. Here, I am fine and studying well. I hope you are also fine. I always pray for you all. Convey my regards to mom and sister. Convey my regards to mom or mother and sister. Next, subscription. Yours lovingly, your pet name or short name you can write here. So, thank you for watching the video. I hope that you understood very well. Follow this, study very well. All the best. And please subscribe my channel and support me.